spend a tremendous amount of time trying to analyze China and Japan and Brazil and the United States. Is very important also to know how things are going there, what the crisis is, the economic crisis, the political crisis. And I think we couldn't find a better person to talk to us today.
Let me start by just noting where the U.S. stands right now. We have a slow and faltering economic recovery. Recent data from a variety of sources has disappointed economic forecasters. We're expecting a slight strengthening of the recovery. House prices are not recovering. In fact, they're still falling. And there's growing anxiety in the U.S. that there is another downward blip in the housing market still to come. Fiscal policy is maxed out. There is no political capacity, I think, to generate a big increase in the budget deficit. Again, that phase is over. Monetary policy is also maxed out. Interest rates are at zero, and the Federal Reserve is already engaged in massive interventions to provide liquidity to the financial markets. The political system, I think, has reached a level of dysfunction which is capable of holding the U.S. back despite those strengths, despite that strong sort of materialistic economic culture. But cliches are sometimes true, is the extreme polarization of the current system. It's so much worse than it has been before. There's polarization on both sides of the political system. Obama and the Democrats. If you do this mapping now, you find that the two parties have moved. The most liberal Republican stands well to the right of the most conservative Democrat. There is just an empty space in the middle. And without that overlap of people who can do business with each other, the system simply seizes up. I think there are some very large gaps in the legislation. One is that I think the rules were too timid on capital adequacy. Another big gap is that the reform fails to tackle the issue of executive pay in the finance industry. The third failure, the third reason I give it only a C, is that the underlying problem of too big to fail. You know, that banks can get to the point where governments have no choice but to rescue them when they run into trouble. You have a moderate, intelligent, effective proposal to solve the fiscal problem. And the two sides in Washington are competing in their ferocity to denounce this plan.